Let's chat. It's our featured segment today. We are speaking. Damien Westin is with us, and we're going to learn a bit. So I have people all the time ask me, what do you talk about on Ron Siegel Radio? What if it affects your bank account or the roof over your head? We talk about it. And Damien might be able to help with both.
Yeah,
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate the opportunity.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with Western. Well, I got to get the name of it right, don't I? Western. My friend's at Western Medical. And I know I'm going to say Western Dental.
That's right.
You're at Western Medical.
Western Medical Training Center, Ron. Yeah, thank you. First of all, I started out in the healthcare industry, and what I witnessed through the pandemic, and this is a little Captain Obvious, is that the clinicians that showed up to take care of us through the pandemic, frankly, they got tired, and there's a lot of them that were retiring. There's a huge need, a tsunami of aging population.
I resemble that remark.
Amen to that. I hear you. Well, and that's really where it came from, or the genesis was a passion around what are we going to do when we need care, right?
Right.
You look at Bureau of Labor statistics, and the fastest growing industry, the largest need is caregivers at the bedside. CNAs, certified nursing assistants, licensed vocational nurses, registered nurses. Even
the care that are from people that are not licensed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's right. Too. Exactly. And what I realized is that the more and more I was out there trying to articulate, the benefits of healthcare in home health, hospice, palliative care, your Medicare benefit, your Medicaid or Medi-Cal benefit. The reality is that wasn't the biggest challenge anymore. The biggest challenge was, can we find the caregiver, the clinician, to get to the bedside? And
Absolutely.
So that's how Western Medical was really sort of birthed, founded from a physician who had been working in the business for 13 years and has great clinical outcomes, great student graduation. And so in less than 6 months and less than $2,500, we're able to help people either find a new career if they're looking at changing careers, if they're interested in taking advantage of the new Senate Bill 525, which raises minimum wage for healthcare workers this June from to $21 an hour, and by next June, $25 an hour. Those are minimum wages. So now we're able to really start supporting people, their pocketbooks, their ability to go out there and buy new homes and put food on their table. And so that's what we're doing.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it? So they raised minimum wage to $21 an hour for healthcare workers and $20 an hour for fast food workers.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I wish I was joking, but there's memes all out there that say, shouldn't we be paid more to flip grandma than flip burgers?
Sure.
But yet that's what In-N-Out, and that's what some of the others have done, which is really put pressure on what should we be doing for our clinicians and our caregivers. And I got to tell you, having come and grown up in this industry, first of all, I think it's an amazing industry. Certainly not without its challenge, but it's an amazing industry that allows people career opportunities that don't require a 4-year degree or a 6-year degree in a lot of scenarios. You can get into this industry for as little as 6 months and a little bit on a pocket change.
So again, something that's kind of ironic that the analogy that you're using, because it's the exact same one that I use, right? Or the commentary that you made there. So you think about that, $2,500 in 6 months.
Yeah.
And you can, those people that say that there's no jobs out there.
No jobs out there. I got to tell you, not only are there jobs, I was blessed enough to sit at the C-suite of many, many organizations where there are very smart people who are passionate about caring for pediatrics to geriatrics, and they can't find the caregivers. They can't find the clinicians. And so to me, it was a no-brainer. I walked into this and said, okay, we're going to start to really apply our energy and effort to rebuilding this industry. And when I think about accessing care when we need it, the need is so great. Right now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the shortage is close to 1 million caregivers at the bedside. But if you do the math on that, Ron, most clinicians are going to care for up to 10 patients easily a day, whether you're a doctor's office, skilled nursing home, assisted living. So you start to compound that issue in the millions by the time you think about the need that's out there.
So let's think about that a little bit. So what am I able to do after I spend the $2,500 and the actually, you know something? We're gonna have to talk about this when we come back.
No worries.
What can we do with after we invest our 6 months education and $2,500? What will that allow me to do? We're going to talk about that with Damien Westin when we come back. We are continuing our conversation this morning, chatting with Damien Westin. Western Medical Training Center is the name of the company. Before the break, if you missed what we started talking about, really, really fascinating industry. And I love doing these kind of things because I am a big believer that we've screwed up as a society. When I was young, way, way back when, I had auto shop, I had wood shop, I had home economics, I had economics. So I learned how to cook. I learned how to rebuild an engine. I learned some things in wood shop, never used them, but I still have an idea about them. We stopped teaching those things because we wanted to get fancy and teach other baloney that no one's going to ever use. And now we're, as a society, we're paying the price for it because we didn't develop plumbers and electricians and mechanics and all these other things. And we need them. They are an integral part of our society. Damien Westin, they're teaching people probably something a little bit more important. I mean, we need mechanics and we need electricians, but you don't need them if you don't have health. And they're teaching people to get into the health industry. We talked about that in the last segment. If you missed it, shame on you, but you can go back and listen to it. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. But what I wanted to find out, I asked this to Damien right before we went to break, and I wanted to find out because their program is basically 6 months and $2,500.
Well, matter of fact, that's the long version of it.
The long version.
The long version. There's actually certifications and programs that are much shorter than that and less than that. We have pharmacy tech, we have EKG certifications, medical billing, and there's a number of other certifications that you can go in less than 6 months. Our most expensive and our longest is 6 months and $2,500.
Longest.
And that's a certified medical assistant. So think about the person.
And what can a certified medical assistant do?
So when you walk into the doctor's office and the person who's taking your blood pressure, weighing you, that's a certified medical assistant. And that program is 6 months, $24.99. And as I was sharing with you, it's part of a number of other certifications that we were able to offer. Everything from the billing side of it to pharmacy and the like. But the trades, as you mentioned, the trades in general are dying, Ron, and you just called it out. Not only did you maybe get an exposure to that in high school, but you got a possibility of a sparked interest. And what we've lost in this new education, and certainly through the pandemic where they were, sitting in their rooms for 2 years, we lost welding, we lost auto, we lost all of those trades and the passions that spark out of those trades.
A friend of mine owns a company that is a glass company, Glazier.
Yeah. And
I think he said that they start their people at like $70 an hour.
Right? I know.
And they can't get enough people.
They can't get enough people. And here's, in fairness, here's the flip side of that. Without exposing a younger generation, without giving them at least a taste of what that might look like. And if you're not in the medical field, or you don't have an aunt, an uncle, a mom, a dad who was in the medical field, how are you going to get that sparked interest?
Sure.
And so,
or somebody that needed it,
that's right.
Right. I mean, we've gotten to the point that we've been exposed to it because I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
But my parents, my wife's parents. Right. We saw what was needed for them to take care of them in their later years.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I spent most of my career on the geriatric side. But, for me, it was my passion and excitement was birthed out of, growing up in a small community, mom and dad, hardworking, blue collar. Dad was a drywall hanger and taper, tradesman. My uncle was a general contractor, tradesman, taught me everything I know. I mean, from working on cars to framing a house. but that skill set is
I need
being
to meet
lost.
them because I don't even know which end of a screwdriver to use.
I got to tell you, it was a gift that I didn't realize that I was getting. But today,
Yeah, you probably have to do honeydews, and I don't.
Oh
I
yeah, no,
don't
the
even know
list
how to
is
do
long.
them.
The
I don't know how
list
to do
is
them.
long.
I got a handyman.
I love it.
But this is great because it's needed, and nobody really. I mean, before you and I started chatting, I had no clue that people could go and get this kind of a opportunity.
Yeah.
For such a minimal amount of money.
Well, let me take it a step further for you, Ron. My opportunity started as a CNA at the bedside. So when I was
okay,
young
wait a
one,
second. What's a CNA?
Certified nursing assistant.
Okay.
So those that are going into nursing homes.
I'm just a simple guy here, Damien.
I got you. That certified nursing assistant certification took me all the way to a regional vice president in a national company. Not a typical story, but I then went back for my bachelor's. I'm just now finishing up my master's. So when you say, where does this certification take you? What can you do with $2,500 in 6 months? I'm telling you, Ron, the sky is the limit for somebody who is looking to either change careers or get into an amazing industry with unlimited potential.
Now, when you're talking about the certification for the 6 months,
yeah,
is that 40 hours a week, or can I have a job and do that, while I've got a job?
Great question. So our programs are designed that we've either got online options, fully online, hybrid options, or in-class options. We run 7 days a week, almost 24/7. So we've got day programs, we've got evening programs, and we've got weekend programs. So whatever that skill set, and really wherever you are, 30% of our students register from outside of the Southern California market. We're serving students in Texas, New York, Florida, all that are interested in getting into pharmacy, certified medical assistant, certified nursing assistant. Those are all opportunities for your listeners.
Ironic enough, and you shared that we're short 1 million people in this arena.
Bureau of Labor Statistics has it at close to 1 million short in caregivers. And when you do the math, Ron, think about it. Every caregiver in a busy doc's office is going to help maybe 20, 25 patients a day. If you're in a skilled nursing, you're going to help at least 10 to 15. So the reality is that number of 1 million is multiplied and compounded to millions when you really extrapolate the need.
Yeah, the need is tremendous.
Oh, it's huge. And this industry,
you'll pardon me though, because I don't really believe Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. I think it's probably higher than that.
Oh, guaranteed. Well,
I think
there was a Senate hearing
number
recently, and I forget who was it that was pontificating, but they said that we lost about 250,000 caregivers due to the pandemic. I got to tell you, Ron, nationally, that is a woefully understated number, because we are in a pain point in the industry where if we don't figure this out, we're not going to have caregivers at the bedside when you and I need it.
And here's the issue with it. We've got to deal with supply and demand, economics 101, right? We've got the government saying, let's push down the cost of healthcare. And we don't have a shortage of people, which pushes up the cost of the of labor.
Yeah.
And the government won't get involved in the litigation side, which is the biggest cost there.
Yep.
Because the government is the lawyers. So
Yep. No, and I think the other great call outs, Ron, and I would tell you that it even goes a little bit further than that. When I sit with some of the CEOs in this industry and they're telling me about their pains, right? Their shortage. And I say, okay, well, what is your turnover? How fast are you losing your employees? And they're like, oh, well, national average is 53%. I said, no, I get that. I just sat down the other day with a CEO. He has 200 nurses. His turnover is 60%. And Bureau of Labor says that that's a $53,000 event every time a nurse turns over. And I'm like, well, back of the napkin, that's $10 million to your business. I said, what would you do with another $10 million back in your pocket? Could you, expand your healthcare benefits for your employees? Could you put into the 401k? Could you reinvest in growing your business?
Sure.
That's the irony of this, is the money's there.
Oh,
the money is there.
Yeah, well, if we just didn't send it to Ukraine, we'd be in
well, there you go. I mean, the reality of how we allocate it and where we put that energy. And the cool part, we're actually taking it a step further. We're taking and tackling some of the biggest issues. We just signed a partnership with San Diego Housing Commission to help re-educate homeless challenged and homeless youth. And for 6 months and $2,500, they're realizing that we can actually not just give these youth an opportunity for a hand out, but a true hand up in giving them a career opportunity that's going to establish a foundation for life.
So what is the shortest program you have? I worked as a pharmacy tech. I didn't even need to go get a program.
Yeah. So you can get, we've got EKG certifications that you can do online. I think those run close to $800, $799, something like that. And you come in for a day of hands-on and away you go. You've got online, so it's a hybrid model. You got
$799 and you come in for a day.
And you're out as a certified EKG tech.
That's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, and the technology nowadays, Ron, is so superseded whatever we needed in order to do as a learning platform.
Now let's go back 1 second. For that EKG tech, what is the wage for that?
So the minimum wage coming out as a healthcare worker right now is $21 an hour, and in the state of California is going to go up to $25 minimum starting next year.
So you got a return on investment of 1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
1 week. And if you do the math, even on our most expensive program, 6 months and 25, the return is about a week and a half. That's insane.
And do you have placement services as well?
We do. So the parent company that went on this journey is called Equip Human Solutions. And Equip Human Solutions is just what it sounds like. It's a passion and a vision around how do we equip for business, for success. We do resume build. We do life coaching. We do career development. All of our students receive that as a free service for joining Western Medical Training Center. So they'll have career support, job coaching for life.
Wow. We're going to continue our conversation because I just missed it. I missed my cue as usual. We're going to continue our conversation with Damien Westin. Western Medical Training, Equip Human Solutions are his companies. You got a job. We're going to talk more with him when we come back. Continue our conversation this morning with Damien Westin. We're chatting Western Medical Training Center, Equip Human Solutions, two separate companies, but a great service, a great process, programs. We're learning about it this morning. Damien, I'm looking at some of the stuff that you've sent over to us, and one of the things that we hear about all the time, we see all the time, is this homeless problem. And we've got our friend, I told you before the show, I'm going to introduce you to our friend Chris Megison over at Solutions for Change. There are organizations, we know that there's that segment of the population that doesn't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
But there's also a large segment that just needs a hand up.
Well, Ron, and you and I were chatting before, but I started out homeless, living out of my car at the age of 16. It wasn't because my parents, were lazy or I was a drug addict. It just so, happened that way. Those are the ones that we can help. Those are the youth, the struggling. And it's not just homeless, Ron. You think about it. So foster care system, we were blessed enough to adopt our first one through the foster care system. And when they turn 18, there's not a whole lot of college tuition sitting around for those young folks, right? Or what about even, prison recidivism or prison recovery and drug and alcohol recovery? If we're looking at really regrowing the trades and giving people an opportunity, we've got to show them a path. And these certification programs are modularized in a way that people can digest it. They can see the end of the tunnel, if you will. Within 6 months, they're out there as a productive member of society, earning a living wage that'll allow them to really base a career out of it.
Now, I didn't ask you this, but are there government entities that might help even with the $2,500?
Yeah. So yes. So I think I shared we're in a great relationship right now with San Diego Housing Commission. We just formed another relationship with another nonprofit agency. We're choosing not to go with any of the federal funding, and here's why. So if you go with the student loans, the FAFSA, frankly, those would jack up the prices to where we would have to charge way more than the $2,500. So what we're doing is we're partnering with local businesses. We're partnering with local entities where you can change a life for $2,500 in 6 months. I can raise that in a car wash, Ron.
Sure.
So, what I tell our students and our applicants, don't let money be your barrier. If you're interested and passionate about caring and you want to enter this industry, I'll find you somebody to help support it. Now, there may be a payback, but that's really what it's all about anyway, isn't it? Is pay it back. And that's what we're doing.
Pay it back and pay it forward.
Pay it back and pay it forward. Yep.
Yeah, that's so there's no reason somebody can't get into this.
No.
And you look at it, and how much money are we spending? Well, I think I saw, what is it, $43,000 is what New York is paying per homeless person.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Or what they just announced, they're paying off $500 million in medical bills for people out in New York. I think that's great. And we're in a spiral here that if we don't do something serious as a community, as a society, we're not going to have caregivers, and it's certainly going to impact our economy.
It's going to be a lot. How does somebody get a hold of you guys?
It's really easy. It's WMTC.info. WMTC.info. We've got all of our certifications on there. Or just to make it even more fun, equiphs.com. Equiphs.com. It's got all of our programs on there, all of our certifications. And as I mentioned, Ron, if your listeners are out there, if they're interested in healthcare, if they want to make a difference in somebody's life, don't let the tuition stand in your way. We'll figure it out and we'll find you a way.
So if you have a desire, so it's basically you're looking just for people that have a desire.
I'm looking for mentors. I'm looking for businesses that are looking for support and need. I'm looking for students. We're actually building what I'm affectionately calling ecosystems of support. I tell you my story only to tell you that the reason why I'm here today, Ron, is to pay it forward. Because somebody gave me a shot so many years ago, and it's my turn to pay it forward, and that's what we're working to do. So I don't want anybody out there, if they're interested in a career and they're serious about getting into an amazing industry like healthcare, give us a call.
And the other thing, and you can, again, if you didn't write those names and numbers, those websites down, just call us at 800-306-1990. I know where to find Damien.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. But one of our other passions, Damien, is our veterans.
Yes.
Right. We can put veterans in touch with you and get our veterans back and get them a hand up.
That's right. We're military. We actually have a great relationship down in San Diego market with spouses. So we have the contract where if you're a spouse of an active military member, they'll pay for your schooling. So again, don't let the tuition be your barrier. Get the education today for a career that's going to support you for a lifetime.
That's pretty amazing stuff. And it's, there's a lot of people out there that talk about getting things done, but this is one that really just helps people get going and get on a career path.
And no excuses. Here's the other thing. This is, first of all, you got to show up accountable. I can't do the bookwork for you. I can't, get you through the education piece of it. But what I can do is create the environment. So if you need help with transportation, we'll find help with transportation. If you need food, clothing, health, shelter, don't let that be your excuse. And that's my message to the
excuses.
Students. No excuses.
And being that you're doing this in a potentially on an online environment, there's really no geography limits.
No, none. Matter of fact, I was talking to a great colleague of mine just the other day in Texas. She's got a friend. You talk about kind of the full spectrum. Her family member was caring for a grandmother who's now passed, and they sort of lost their purpose, right? Lost their way. Well, in 6 months, they can be, and by the way, this family member has a background in bio, but never used the 4-year degree. In a 6-month CNA certificate, pharmacy certificate, they're working in the pharmacy field.
And we need a lot of that too.
Well, and Ron, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for another second, but this also applies to university graduates. I am disappointed to hear, but I've got a lot of students who are 4-year graduates, some of which went into bio that were told they were going to graduate and make $150,000 a year. They can't find a job. There's nothing out there. nothing out there until you get into a certification program. And now all of a sudden we've got jobs at go that are starting at $25, $30 an hour.
And there you go. That's the whole thing right there, is that, a lot of the schools are just promising. Well, we don't want to go into that one. Josh already
episode.
Yeah, Josh already gave me the wrap up. As always, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
It's July, getting paid by the hour and older by the minute.